Did I do it?
You did it.
Hey.
Hold on. I'm going to shut my door. My neighbor's being loud.
Yeah. While she's shutting her door, I'll tell you that I'm going to get in trouble when I get home because I've put pet rats on the bed opposite me, thinking they would stay asleep in their bag, and
What?
they're not. They're not asleep.
I can't actually wrap my head around that visual. Can you give that to me again? What exactly is happening?
He has pet rats,
Okay.
and normally they sleep all day, so they're in their bag, and I put the bag on the bed thinking they would just stay asleep.
They're in a bag?
They're in a bag.
Is
They're
that,
asleep in a bag.
don't Australians use that term, rat bag?
Yeah, I know, which is hilarious, and we didn't think of that till later. But anyway, the point is they're on the bed, and Wade's going to find out, and it's not going to be fun, but that's okay. I'll deal with that later.
Uh-huh. Do they live in the bag? I guess I don't understand.
No, they hang out in the bag
It's like
because
a
they
sleeping
sleep.
bag.
Yeah, it's like a sleeping bag. So they go to sleep in the bag. But they're not asleep today just because I put them on the bed.
Oh, it's funny.
So that's going to be gross, and I'll clean that up later
Hmm.
because nobody wants rats in their bed.
No,
No.
no. I once had a friend, she's a super precious woman, but the first time I met her, she's tall like me, and she had dreads, and I gave her a hug, and she gave the biggest, greatest hug ever. But then as I was squeezed into her being, a little rat popped out of her hair.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening right now? Like, oh, that's my
Yeah, they're actually beautiful.
like, what? No, you can't hug people. No.
Not without pre-warning. Not
Yeah.
without pre-warning. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I used to have rats when I was a kid, and my mother used to be horrified because not only would I go everywhere barefoot, which you know is an Australian thing now,
Yes.
I would go around with a rat would be somewhere on me, and she'd be always horrified because it would usually be asleep, like in an armpit or around the neck area. But if you're in the supermarket and suddenly a rat pops out,
Yeah.
people aren't stoked about that. But as a teenager, you just don't care. So, so yeah, there are some beautiful things to our different stages of life, and that whole I don't care factor, shake your fist at the world teenager thing is beautiful
It
and,
is.
also troublesome from time to time. It is what it is. It is
Oh,
what it is.
I know.
We're
I
doing
was
10
just
minutes
thinking about
today.
that today. What would you tell your, I don't know, 16, 17-year-old self now?
Self. Yeah.
What would you
What would you tell? You've already thought about it. What would you tell your 16-year-old self?
I wouldn't tell her a thing. She'd look at
Oh.
me and tell me to shut the fuck up.
My 16-year-old self would be far too polite to do that. But my 16-year-old self was so wafty that I reckon you could have said anything to my 16-year-old self and you just would have been greeted with a nod and a smile and a flowing scarf, and there'd be no listening. There was a lot of poetry happening with my
Yeah.
16-year-old self.
No, I agree. I probably wouldn't have said that either. I wouldn't have had the guts, but I would have probably just sat there looking at you like you were stupid.
Yeah, it's funny, but this whole idea of, because in art therapy we do that reparenting, when you do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We do that in somatics too.
Yeah, oh, do you? Yeah. So, and it should be done by everybody. At first, I thought it was a bunch of hokum pokum, and kind of tricking yourself into sort of making something feel okay. So, I'm a huge fan of, if I'm skeptical about it, I'll give it a go, which can lead you into trouble as well. So I gave this a go with this, what I considered to be quite a small moment in my teenage life. After doing a tiny bit of reparenting in like that sort of a visualization, go back and parent yourself thing, I couldn't believe how much that little thing actually had affected me. But also I could not believe how effective this strategy of going back and reparenting, or having a moment with your older self, having a moment with your younger self.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what would you go back and tell your 16-year-old self?
I've actually already done this in therapy as well. I go back and revisit regularly. I have a little exile around the age of 6, 7 years old, and then again in my teenage years. So I visit them pretty regularly just to check in and let them know they're loved. And
That's lovely. I think
yeah.
I haven't been self-aware enough to actually spend the time to go back and find those moments of exile, because I don't know why I haven't. I think I like the term you've just used, those moments of exile, and I've never really thought that there would actually be more of them along the way. I suppose I just think of the one big one that didn't happen till I was sort of much older.
Yeah.
But there would have been, little moments. That's a great idea. I like that. I might
that
write
comes
that
out
down.
of the whole IFS theory.
Yes.
So I didn't coin the word exile, but it makes sense.
Yeah. You coined it in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For those of you playing at home, IFS is interfamily systems, and you can Google that.
I guess I would maybe go back to my little self and affirm the different phases I went through, like going through sort of masculine energy, then feminine energy, then masculine energy. And I'm really glad that there was enough room to play.
I was really fortunate with that too. As much as my mother had an idea of what she wanted for my life, she was incredibly gracious to let me play in those spheres, which was great.
Yeah. I think if I would have been either boxed myself in or boxed in by society, I would have probably clawed my way out like a cat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I would affirm that and just say it's going to be okay. You're going to come into the full knowing of yourself when you hit about 50.
Yeah. And they'll be like, what?
And then you're going to hit menopause and everything's not going to make sense again.
And now you're going to tell me you get through that and everything becomes wonderful.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, fair enough.
You don't know when you're in the threshold, right? Like you don't know when it is.
No, that's right. That's right. And then, but eventually, to tell that little self you manage to find your own very personalized balance of the masculine and the feminine. My middle son and I were talking today about, wouldn't it be really handy if we could change the language from masculine and feminine, which has become really associated with male and female, and if we could just call it energy type A, energy type B, or give them completely different names. Energy type booga booga, energy type bigga bigga, like whatever, and start talking about those energies like that. And all of a sudden, we had this sort of talk this morning, all of a sudden the whole social sort of contrivedness of all of that just disappeared, and it all actually made a lot more sense. It was really good. It was a really good exercise to change that language.
That's beautiful. It's interesting when language liberates us, but then at a certain point we can take and use it to weaponize it and use it or it could be used to stifle, and then
it's because that's
whole deconstruction thing again, and then language, and then we're free liberated, and then that's used to
and that's people, isn't it? Like that's people have done that from the dawn of time with anything they can get their grubby hands on. Religion, spirituality, health, everything, gender, sex, the whole lot.
It is wonderful when we find new ways to conceptualize something that really resonates and brings something home for us and liberates. That's what I'm feeling right now as I've been learning about the somatic trauma therapy and the vagus nerve and all that stuff. And it's funny because Craig, my husband, is like, I don't know. He said something the other day and he goes, "Oh, it must be your vagus nerve." Because I was having a meltdown. I just started cracking up. I was like, wow, I must talk about this a lot.
Wade says things like that to me. He says, Meli, I think your prefrontal cortex has stopped working. Oh, thanks. There could be something in that.
Yeah, it's just funny. I am really enjoying what I'm learning, and I love offering it to others and sharing it with others. But I also know there's that limit, right? There's that just holding really loosely to things so that
Yes.
they can continue to adapt and
Yes, and learn.
and,
You know, continue to learn. I really like the actual idea of lifelong learning, which means you have to hold what you think you've learned loosely.
Yeah.
You have to hold that loosely so that you can keep learning.
Yeah.
And there's a fear involved there because, you know, then what if I'm wrong? But what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? That's how we keep learning. And then grace comes into that, and then
passion, insight.
Yeah.
My grandfather on my mom's side, Grandpa Al, he used to say, if you think you know everything, you're dead.
Yeah. And my music lecturer used to either say or quote someone that was, the more I know I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that. Good.
Well, my dear.
All right, then go forth and learn.
Wait,
hold loosely your knowledge.
Aren't you gonna sing me a song? I sang you one last time.
Yeah. Although I was thinking about that, and I think we should just sing your song for a while until I learn it. So do your song again.
Okay, I gotta remember it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thank you for the sun, thank you for the rain, thank you for the way that you sustain my breath and being, my breath and being.
Next time I'll join in with a harmony. You wait, it'll be beautiful.
Maybe you can write another verse, or if there's another ending, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh yeah, we'll bring it back down to the tonic.
Yeah.
We'll get that done.
I know, because I'm always just up here and I'm like, I can't get
No, but it's nice. I like it because it's like, sorry, like this is now going way over, but I like it because it's like goodbye, but not goodbye.
Yeah. All right, my dear.
All right.
Mwah.
Peace out.
Bye.